Council Havi, Franklin mentions the quest for survival. And here, who survives on the other? Because the president has already claimed a stake in the ODM party. And the ODM party, according to some members of the leadership, Simba Arati and co, are welcoming the president to vie on an ODM party ticket and come back to the party that he helped form in the aftermath of the referendum in 2005. So, seems a case of double political dilemma.
Well, Ayub, your question is who survives? I think the survivor here is dependent on the fitness, survival for the fittest. It cannot be said that President William Samoei Ruto is any way advantaged than Elisha, than Wanga, than Khalwale. They are all struggling to survive. And much as he may appear slightly fitter than the rest of the other warriors and parasites, I think what we need to look at is the transient nature of these political formations right now. They are so temporary, they're worse than plastic paper wrapping, because they tend to shift every day. And I foresee a situation whereby William Samoei Ruto will run for president in 2027 on a coalition of ODM and KANU. That is most probable. Because of all the existing political parties, these two seem to be most elaborate in structural formation. And if he had a keen eye, his overtures towards ODM at the beginning of this year is indicators that he will come back to ODM and expel Edwin Sifuna and other belligerent owners of ODM was premeditated and deliberate. You can see the overtures he has made towards KANU to the extent of ensuring that the owner of KANU does not run for office. Now compare this with the overtures of Daniel Arap Moi in 1992 and beyond. Moi tended to have permanent relationships so that if he needed to reach out to individuals in Ford Asili or Ford Kenya, he will be deliberate. He will ask that they resign their positions in parliament and in those parties. He will accommodate them in KANU, deliberately come to Likuyani and campaign for Apili Wawire, walking all the way from Nangili Market up to Likuyani to ensure that he wins. Permanency. You understand? The person who suffers most from this transient nature of this formation that we are seeing is the people, because it requires a lot of public funds to undertake these transient enterprises, as opposed to the permanent overtures that were taken by President Daniel Arap Moi. Mm-hmm. So whoever is fit in this contest is the one that will survive. I foresee many people from Rift Valley running on a KANU ticket. I foresee many people in Luo Nyanza and Western Kenya struggling to run on an ODM ticket after the fusion of ODM and UDM. But it will be a struggle for the fittest.
Okay.
You know,
please finish.
What disturbs me is that I think we have fixed our minds to clearly bring out Edwin Sifuna or specific people as the hope of ODM, as the people who are going to be the big change or champion. That is not true. We cannot be here saying that there was no democracy in ODM. If Raila says left is left, because it's about Gladys Wanga. And here, Raila says we are in broad-based government. We have a 10-point agenda. We are working something in this. And Sifuna comes and says, I'm not part of that. I do not want to be associated with that. And he's still in ODM. And Raila does not find that to be so what type of democracy do we want to talk about if that is not democracy? If that is not democracy, if seeing Edwin Sifuna disagreeing with Raila's position in the party and still remain the Secretary General, it's not democracy. Let us not forget, the most powerful Secretary General ODM has ever had in its history was none other than Ababu Namwamba, the man who swore himself with the name of Raila Amolo Odinga in Parliament. And Ababu felt that now he has the numbers. People listen to him. You know, he's a man of the people. And he thought he could do it on his own. When he left the party, what happened to Ababu Namwamba? You see, people like Edwin Sifuna are relevant only when they're fighting within the party. They remain so relevant and they remain the darling of the people when they're fighting within the party. But when they walk outside the party that people associate themselves with, Nelson Havi here said that ODM probably is one of the strongest political parties going by the duration it has been in existence. You see, when they walk out of that political party outside on their own, how much can they pull? What type of crowd can they pull? You see, and this is the position we are saying. I am saying a very clear, practical things in the political arena. ODM is going to put the house in order. It is not by coincidence that Gladys Wanga was made a chair of the ODM. I mean, anybody could have been made a chair of ODM. Anybody. It is not by coincidence she was made the chair of ODM. And once they put the house in order, and they decide that this is the way they want to go, and I told you there might be slight, disagreements with him, but they're going to be inconsequential in the next general election. And ODM is going to decide who is going to carry their flag in coalition with other government. And that is why I'm telling you, I do not see anybody other than Gladys Wanga leading that formation.
I get your point, but they're also somewhere inviting the president to be the flag bearer.
He can't come back to ODM. He can't come back to ODM.
But there are some who want.
The president cannot come back to ODM.
Okay, you're
saying he will not. His pride to leave his political party to go back to ODM will not be proper. Okay. But he's going to form an alliance with ODM. That is.
But there are some who want him to be part of the ODM party.
Yes, but I know he cannot go back.
So that therefore it kicks off your political attitude. Yes, Councillor.
I need to speak with profound circumspection in reference to Ojijo because these are my in-laws. They retain the power to recall my wives. So I have to be extremely careful. But that notwithstanding, I owe a greater duty to the nation and the people of Luo Nyanza. As I've said, we are not dismissing what Ojijo is saying. He speaks for a majority of the population of his age and a population slightly above his age. But the question that we must grapple with right now is where do we want to take the democratic space in Kenya post the death of Raila Amolo Odinga? That discourse can only be fruitful if it is undertaken objectively. We are in a multi-party democracy. The cannibalization of political parties is an enterprise that must not be countenanced. And if you in Luo Nyanza need any direction as to what is right, you must verily listen to two people and two people alone. James Orengo and Professor Anyang' Nyong'o. These two gentlemen have the benefit of age. They fought for what we have in their youth. They sacrificed a lot. We cannot allow short-term benefits of self-actualization without hard work to blur the wider goal that Raila Amolo Odinga had for the people of Kenya, not Luo Nyanza. You understand? So I believe there is part of this population that is affiliated to the views of Ojijo, but is still amenable to a broader perspective, one that will ensure we have a functional executive and independent and vocal parliament that is able to push the agenda of the people of Kenya. Otherwise, we will fall. And we cannot fall just because the king has fallen. He has left us with a roadmap.
Franklin.
Yeah, I wouldn't want it to go on record that I am here to profile this leader against the other. My point clearly, Ojijo, was the absence of Raila Odinga provides an equal opportunity to Edwin Sifuna, to Gladys Wanga, to Simba Arati, Babu Wino, and the rest within the ODM fraternity to prove their mettle. They have been in a conditioned room that was well architectured by one Raila Odinga, and it is now time that they are properly exposed to the direct race of politics. So that gives them an opportunity to emerge. And that must be quite clear. As to whether some of them will survive and the others not, it is quite clear. The political landscape is not for favors. Gladys Wanga has to go for it, just the way Sifuna would go for it. Some will be subdued. The others will find their own pathways. If you look at the two, as it were, Edwin Sifuna arrived at the party secretariat and declared, I think, sometime in 15, 16.
Before the elections in 2017.
Yes, that the office of the Secretary General is vacant, and I am here, to take charge. We know Raila Odinga's modus operandi, that when you differed, he found a way of having his co-loyalists deal with you democratically, right? and we have not seen some of those things subjected. The survival of ODM, and if there is something that I would advise them as the Executive Director of Center for Multiple Democracy, as our member political party, is that let the Central Committee today announce when we're going to have a National Delegates Conference, because the party is done with the grassroots elections. And I am aware and privy to that. If there is a gift that Baba Raila Odinga left with them, is reorganizing the party grassroots. Let them convene the National Delegates Conference. Let Edwin Sifuna go for the post of Secretary General, retain it, and we will have proven his worth. Let Gladys Wanga go for the party chair or the party leader and get it, so that then we can begin to say we're separating wheat from the chaff. Otherwise, all this are mere opinions, and as it were, opinions are like armpits. Some armpits stink, others do not. So allow us to profile our opinion, whether stinking or not.
The Euroforce.
Daktari, coming to you. When you listen to Governor Simba Arati calling on the president to rejoin the party, is it an admission, and this is a feeling shared by other ODM party members, is it an admission that the center has lost a stable factor in Odinga, and therefore they need the presence of the president therein, perhaps to use the symbolic presidential power to contain the forces that seem to be pushing the party from within?
I'm rather doubtful that that could be the scenario. Simba Arati has belonged so far to the strand of ODM that has been hostile to the so-called broad-based government. I must interrogate myself and ask whether he speaks out of genuine persuasion that that's the way to go, or whether he speaks with tongue in cheek. And I would suppose that it is the latter, on account of the fact that Ruto has been talking about not allowing ODM to go to the opposition. He's behaving as if he's in charge. He has even told Sifuna that I'm a founder member and we could expel you, among other things that he's saying. And so, speaking tongue-in-cheek, Simba Arati, who has been solidly against the broad-based government, would be telling him, if you find ODM so alluring, why don't you just cross over and forget about UDA? Then you could run on the ODM ticket. I see that there are going to be very many things. Let me say there are likely to be very many things happening within ODM, including fallout. I do not see that the warriors, as we have called them, are going to cave in. They probably will be quite ready to migrate to other spaces. They will not migrate voluntarily. They will wait for somebody to attempt to expel them from the party. And I can assure you, and Franklin is here, that it's easier said than done, this thing of expelling people from parties. I was Secretary General of the defunct ANC, and we had our own rebels, people who would not toe the party line. And we attempted many times to expel them. And it was an uphill task. And ODM itself previously attempted to expel people. It was virtually impossible. I think Jubilee almost succeeded. But we are also closing in to the elections. So these people are going to stay put, drag them through the political parties disputes tribunal, drag them through the High Court, through the Court of Appeal. And indeed, these things can go all the way to the Supreme Court, by which time the elections are here. And they're going to be mining the controversy and the litigation for political mileage. I think President William Ruto has his goose cooked. And what we are seeing is an individual who could drown clingingly clutching on straws. We have not yet evolved and grown the political party culture, because the political party cannot be a group of people up there, honchos in the party presidium, who say left and everybody goes left, who say right and everybody goes right. Because the political party is essentially a mass movement. And the mass is out there. It's not been consulted. What we have are shopping baskets, election shopping baskets, that at the end of the season we go out there with our shopping basket and we are able to pick up whatever we are able to. And after that, it goes into dormance. And it's built around an individual. People ask you, whose party is this? When we formed the Democratic National Alliance, we started hearing people saying, oh, this is Mudavadi's, Musalia Mudavadi's party, which it is not. You hear, this is Uhuru Kenyatta's party, this is William Ruto's party. And when William Ruto migrates from a certain location to another one, that location that he migrates to becomes a party with a new name. And there's a following that then doesn't seem to even bother to interrogate what this particular outfit stands for. So Raila Odinga was the party, he was the ideology, he was the rallying call, he was the entire entities within the bigger edifice. And the moment of truth is eventually here, as Franklin of the Center for Multi-Party Democracy says. This is the time to go back to the delegates across the country. And you are likely to survive that way.
Okay.
And in the end, we are going to likely move from the parasitic space to the saprophytic space. You know, they are also saprophytes, the ones that are the pests that thrive on dead matter.
Okay. So when we get back from the break,